Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Getting Political with Haz. Well, actually non-political with Haz. Because we're not talking about politics today, we're talking about a apolitical subject for the first time ever. And, you guys are probably wondering what's so important about this subject that you can't get political about. And it's pretty simple, we're talking about Scott Cawthon being Republican. Now, if you guys didn't know, Scott Cawthon has been under fire recently, just like Vietnam. He's been called out for having a political opinion. Oh, what? Impossible! He talks about politics, he has a political opinion. It's insane. It's insanity. But, usually people with political opinions don't get called out for it. But in this case, Scott Cawthon has that fan base that dwells in cancel culture, I guess. It's basically like the dream stands. So what happened is that they checked out what he's been donating to, and they saw that he donated to a bunch of Republicans. This is old news. The only reason why I'm making this is because MatPat made a video recently that I saw yesterday night that kind of made me angry. He had this dumb take being like, oh, people don't want to support him because if he takes that money, or if he takes the money that you paid him, he goes donating to these Republican things that might be anti-LGBTQ. Now, the thing is that you're not paying, or you're not giving money to Scott. You're paying for a service. Scott has the service, he puts it out, and he gets the money from that service. It's business, right? Now, I'm here to tell you that most of the things you're buying are probably going to some sort of charity that you might not agree with, to some Republican, I guess, maybe even a liberal for those who are conservatives, I guess. Now, as for myself, I'd say I'm pretty apolitical for the most part. If I had to be in a political spectrum, I'd be a centrist, maybe leaning right. Right, I believe that, we should probably not use that much carbon emissions and tone it down a bit. But at the same time, I believe in voter ID and, stuff like that, A pretty neutral take on this politics thing. And I feel like it's good to have that sort of take because, keep in mind, politics isn't black and white. Now, I said this on my Twitter before, Matt passed it in his video, which kind of redeemed it for me a bit. But politics isn't black and white. It's not good guy against bad guy, It's a battle of ideas, right? It's shades of gray. You're never gonna get a politician that's exactly, the perfect person. Or a politician that's so evil. Actually, you might get a politician that's so evil. But there's nuance to things, right? For example, I legitimately do not believe that these politicians that Scott Cawthon has donated to had recently said, oh, you can't do stuff because you're gay and you like men or women, right? Most of these are probably just trans rights, which to many is a big deal, but to others might not be, top of the priority. For starters, right, these might be very nuanced things. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I stand behind these or if I don't. Examples of this might be. This is hard to explain because I might get in a world of trouble. But essentially, some of these might believe in transgender women can't play in female sports or puberty blockers to kids. All these sensitive topics that needs to be discussed more about is what some of these people are saying, which are the anti-LGBTQ rights. Now you have to respect that not everyone's gonna hold the same moralistic value as you, right? Right, some people think that transgender people shouldn't be telling people that they're gonna have sex with that they're transgender. Other people think it's rape. It's this whole debacle, and I really don't want to get into it, but if someone supports someone, all I'm just saying is that you shouldn't jump the gun and, accuse the people who are supporting them to agree with everything a politician says, because at the end of the day, you're not going to agree with everything that a politician says. Now, I seen that happen a lot with the left, where they call Trump supporters racists, Now, as far as my knowledge, Trump hasn't really done or said anything that's racist. The only like one occasion that reportedly happened was that there is a video of him saying the N-word that's only been seen by one person. Well, on the other hand, you have Joe Biden, who looked up to a Klanman, said he should be looked up to, a Klansman, a Grand Wizard to be exact, and actually signed racist bills back in the old days, right? And in that logic, shouldn't the Joe Biden supporters be racist? It's this whole not black and white thing. Between this black and white thing, it's this gray area where, again, it's this whole thing is that if you support a politician, you're not going to support everything that they agree with. And I don't think Scott Cawthon should be at the butt end of that argument. He has values, you have values, right? He supports the people who, rank higher on his list of values. Now, one thing I would say about Scott is that he has a huge penis, dude. What he did right there, where he put out a statement after this whole thing, and he said he doesn't apologize. He doesn't regret having an opinion, and I 100% agree with that. I don't think he should have apologized. If he did, then I don't know. A lot of these people like Dream apologized for saying drugs, right? And then someone went and made the connection, be like, "Oh, black people make drugs and they're poor. You can't say drugs. That's racist." And now he has to apologize to anything he says now. He's under this like microscope, and I feel like Scott really saved himself that, because if he did apologize, being like, "Oh, my opinions about this subject is wrong, and I'm sorry," then he's not apologizing for his opinions at that point. That apology would be fake. He's apologizing that he got caught having those opinions. I don't know. I feel like people should have a more neutral outlook instead of looking at the bad. Because let's just be honest. Any politician that's been around since like the 2000s, early 2000s, probably said anti-gay things, right? I feel like I'm pretty sure there's a clip of Joe Biden saying it, a clip of Trump saying it, right? Both parties are wrong in that regard, right? Instead of demonizing the other side, why don't we just try to look at each other's opinions and just come to an agreement, I feel like that's the point of politics, and when you try to push aside the other side, it kind of silences them, which kind of happened to Scott Cawthon. He stepped down because of this whole thing, and it's sad to me. And what I hate about the Matt Pat video is that he tries to justify that, and it shouldn't be justified. Here's a red pill for you guys. Did you know that it was the liberals who wanted slavery back in the day, and it was the liberals who started the KKK, right? Again, politics isn't black and white. It's the shades of gray, and when you try to justify, people having an opinion, or justify people not being able to have an opinion, then you're flat out retarded. If we went and demonized the other side, let's say a Trump voter, right? A Trump voter, we demonize them, being like, "Oh," and then we go for their jobs because they're giving money to Trump supporters, which might go to Trump, right? Then half the country wouldn't have a job. Politics wouldn't work. That's just silencing one side of the argument. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of went off on this. It's probably going to be my longest video, but I just want to end off with Hillary Clinton. I will be voting for Hillary Clinton.